Welcome Taste Designs 107, I'm the Ace on the Carpack and you're the Kings and Queens. Today what for these guys is a Photoshop and Cinema 4D tutorial showing you how you can make your own 3D Mario Twitter header. I've done a Mario themed header before, but I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a different themed one. It looks different obviously, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, before I started recording this tutorial, I went and made the header like I always do, but I organized all the asset folders very neatly for you guys, as I want my tutorials to be easy to follow through. So I've gone ahead and made a text setup just as I like it, with the lights and everything. And then what I've also gone and done is I've tested out what it's going to be like, and these are all my layers. So it's not a very complex header to make. It's just simply dragging images onto a document using the adjustment, using layers to lighten them, a little bit of photo manipulation, but it isn't a hard Twitter header to make. So if you're not that skilled in Photoshop, I really do recommend doing this tutorial if you want something cool and unique. So if you go to File, Open, and I've organized all my assets into all these folders, so when I'm going throughout the tutorial, it'll be easy for you guys to follow along. Also, I've got the final PSD that will be in the description below, as well as the font that I'll be using, the Mario font, and also the text setup, and also the preview. So yeah, that's what I'll be... Oh, I won't give the preview, that's just for myself, but yeah. So this is what we're going to be using for today's tutorial. And yeah, you don't need Magic Bullet looks for this one, so because it looks really clean without it. So yeah, that's the great thing about it. So I'm gonna go jump over to Cinema 4D, and I'm gonna show you how to edit the Lightroom to get your own text. So here in Cinema 4D, I've made three groups of the text, and I've also put in the lights around just to suit where the light refractions are. And I've been using the preview render to see what it looks like as a preview. So that's been pretty helpful. Now to edit this, you simply just open up all these ones here. So this layer here is just the main text. Then this layer here is for the cap around the text, and this group here is for the black bit that's around it, so the different things. So to edit these, all you have to do is just go to your first one, right, go to your object and type in your letter. So for an example, if I want E instead of here, I just do that. And then I can go to my second one, do N. And then go to my third one and do, I don't know, D. Like just do end for a really quick example. And then you can simply just move all these together. So if you want your D to do, hold Control, move those, select all those, and move it across. So there, so you got end ing. So yeah. So that's that. You can delete all your other text, and you can also add more in by just pressing Control C, Control V, and adding more. So if you want more letters, you can use different textures. Go to right click, go to your textures. So if you want to have like a different color texture than red, you can right click on your texture, go to edit, and oh wait, that's the wrong one. Right click, edit, go to your color, and choose your color, and then it should update on the text like always. So there you go, that's how you do that, and it's a really simple, easy method to editing the template that I've made for you guys. So yeah, so once you've done that, you're just going to go to your render settings and render it out. So I'm just going to undo all these little changes that I've made, if it's going to let me. Come on. It should be fine. So just go to your cogwheel, and then for the output settings, just do 1920 by 1080p. The save, we're going to save it as a PNG for this one, so we have no background, and just export it to wherever you would like. I made a folder and just did text setup, and then put on global illumination and ambient occlusion. Depending on how fast your computer is, it might take a little bit of time. Mine, it does it in like 10 to 15 seconds, even 5 seconds. So yeah. So I'm not going to save the changes towards those, and I tried it out on all these other ones, and that was the best Lightroom for this. So To make this Twitter header, we're just going to go to File, New, and we're going to do the size of this document 1500 by 500, and the resolution 300, just to have it really high quality. And I'm just going to close that. Yes, I'll just say that. Okay, so first we need to add in the clouds. So go to the assets folder. You can get this in the description below, as always, and just go to your cloud folder and just import these two. So we'll do the elements one element at a time. So first of all, I'm going to use this cloud layer and put it onto the layer, put it onto the document, and press Ctrl T and resize that one like that. Now we want mostly blue, so I'm going to just do it like this, because of towards the bottom of the stock image it gets more cloudy, as you can see. So we want it more bluish. You can use a different stock, I just happen to use these ones. And then bring in your second cloud image with the move tool and just drop it into place. And we're going to use the cloudy part of it. So I'm going to just zoom out here, just bring this one in. Press Ctrl T always to resize stuff. And I'm just going to, put it there. So we have the clouds on the bottom and then we have the blue on the top, but we don't want this color blue. So to do that, I'm going to use our eraser tool. Let's do the size of it to 450. The hardness is going to be 0, and just simply erase some of the clouds in that. And just what this will do is it will blend the two images together and create something pretty cool. So it's manipulation aspect of things, you could say. So yeah, I'm digging something like this. Is not too bad. I don't like that little eraser that I've done there. Okay, so that is looking pretty good for the tutorial aspect of things. If you want to take more time and just to find the right settings of the erasing, that's that. But for this one, I'm just going to use those. Now, then what I'm going to do is bring in my text render. So if you go and open that one up, it should be a PNG, like I said. And here it is. So I'm just going to drag and drop this one onto my document. Press Ctrl T. And I'm just going to hold Shift and Alt and resize this one down like that. I'm going to center it onto my document with the snapping tool. Press Ctrl 0 to zoom back out, and I'm going to make a size something like that, and just simply tilt that a little bit. Perspective a little bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to go to File, Open, and hang on, I'm gonna manipulate the text a little bit. So I'm gonna rename this layer to Render, and I'm going to merge these two clouds together and just name this cloud layer. Cloud. Okay, and there's going to be render. Okay, so I'm going to make a new layer above the render by pressing Ctrl Shift N and press B on your to grab your brush tool. Now on my render, I'm just going to press Ctrl U to bring up my hue saturation and just bump down the lightness a little bit. Something like 14 plus should be good. And then I'm going to, on this new layer, right click, do create clipping mask, and use my brush tool to simply click in the areas which I want my highlights to be. And then I'm going to go to the opacity, and I can try soft light or hard light. I think I'll just leave it on normal. Just change the opacity a little bit. It should be something like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So then what I'm going to do is just go to File, Open, and open up my assets folder, and then go and grab my Mario and Luigi. And what we're going to do is just to put these characters into the document. So put my Luigi, press Ctrl T, press Ctrl 0, And these are really high resolution photos, so yeah, images you could say. So it's always good to have really high resolution images. It really helps. So I'm just going to put this one behind my text and do something like that. Okay, and just close that one, go to open and open up my Mario and do the same. Oopa. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to add in my other images. So I'm going to show you how I grabbed this one, and also this little box here. So I found it on this cover art here, right? And these are the elements that I found, and you notice that Luigi and Mario is the same, but I just happened to find better PNGs. And also this. Now this is a huge document, so if I go to the image size, it is 6,000 by 3,000, so it's huge. So to grab these images, I've just used my pen tool, cut these out, right? Right click, do make selection, press OK, press Ctrl Shift I, delete everything around there. I made a layer below this one. So when I press delete, it's just going to delete it. And then I use my quick selection like I do in every single tutorial basically. And I just go ahead and go over here. Right? And if your selection goes a bit over for you new people to the channel, I just use the minus one, the minus little brush, and I just minus away from here. Right? And then you have your selection, and that's what I did for all the different elements from this picture. So I press Ctrl Shift I, delete that white, and then I basically have a PNG which I can drag onto my document and use. So that one's pretty good, so I'll just use this one. But to save you guys from doing that, what I've done is I've gone ahead and taken my time to do that selection around here, and I've made a PNG here, and this one will actually be better than this box. So I'm going to, I'll also name this highlights. Let's name this one Mario. And I don't know how to spell Luigi. So yeah, so I'm going to put this PNG into my document. It's going to be above all this. Minus a little bit out of here. And just resize it to something like here. That's looking pretty good. And with this box, I am going to do some highlights like I did on the text. So I'm going to make a new layer above here, go to my brush tool, change this one to 350 probably, hardness 0. Make sure white's on my foreground color, right click, go to create clipping mask, and I'm just going to do my highlights. Bam, and let's do this to 100, and let's do this to 80. Oppa. Make a new layer and right click, do create clipping mask. I'm gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just blur this one right here. So now we got that highlight on the rim, and then I'm just gonna go to the opacity and change that one up so it looks like, you know, the light's reflecting off that top bit. And then I'm going to, this is going to be box, it's going to be, I'm going to copy this highlights word, so just press Ctrl A, press Ctrl C. Okay, and then I'm going to make a new layer and press B for my brush tool. Again, go to 1000 this time, and I'm going to go ahead and make a vignette of white clouds like around here. And go to my opacity. can take away some of this bit. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good, and that just looks like it's coming off at the side. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to not make the changes there, bring in my rockets. So I'll bring in my other box. I'll work by folder by folder. That's a great thing. You don't have to do any of these steps by order. You're just simply placing on images onto here. That's why I think that this tutorial is awesome for beginners. You know, I want something a little bit, like, I want variety in my channel, so I'm going to have difficult tutorials that I won't go over every single shortcut, and then I want, you know, tutorials that are more easier for the beginners in Photoshop. So there we go, and then I'm going to go to filter, blur, clashing blur, and I'm just going to blur this by like 2.2, and then I'm going to go to filter, blur, motion blur, and just blur this one. I'm going to make a duplicate and do that motion blur on that duplicate. This is how you do some motion blur, kids. And go to your opacity and do something like that. Overlay. Yeah. Merge those two together, and there's going to be question box. And this is going to be your white VIN. White VIN means white vignette. And then I'm going to bring in my other images. So to do that, I'm going to just simply go back to File, Open, and go to my Assets, Confetti folder, open that one up, then drag this one onto your document by using the Move tool like I've always been doing in this tutorial, and just resize this one up. So this is the confetti that we'll be doing. Confetti is awesome with like colorful banners, and I'm just going to drag this one down here. Now, because this one isn't a particularly high resolution confetti photo, it's already like blurred a little bit because of we resizing it so large, but we're still going to add a filter blur, blushing blur on this baby. Not too large since it is already pretty low quality res. So let's do 1.5 I'm feeling, and then go to your eraser tool and bump your hardness on this time to like 80 something. So then when we erase some of these particles, just to add a little bit of nitpick to that, press Ctrl J, and I am going to resize this baby. Something like that, and press Ctrl U. Just so like I have that really large square there, and then press Ctrl J for that square, and I'll move something down like here, and erase all this babies. Press Ctrl U, change the color to something like this, press Ctrl T, and just move this one like that. So there, we've got some confetti into the image, and it is looking pretty good, if I must say myself. Now I might change the opacity on these babies just a little bit, down to like 80, and that's relatively it for the confetti. So then I'm going to bring in my last couple of images for this banner. So to do that, just go to your open, go back to the research folder, and then go to my flag. And then on this flag, this is where you can add in your logo, just to add in some customizability. You know, you can get something like, you can add in your logo. I'm not going to do that, but for an example, if you're doing a banner for Phase or Saw, you can just simply go to your pen tool, go around this little Mario bit, right click it, go to make selection, and then fill this one in with white, making sure that that layer is selected. Press Ctrl Shift I, and then obviously, or you can just simply go to your brush tool. Let's do size something like that, and then just with your hardness do 100%. Let's do 55, yeah, and just go there, and then you can put your logo in that little area there, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep the Mario thing here, and I'm going to go to File, Open, and open up now. Oh, on this flag layer, I'm just going to name this flag. It's going to be confetti, and Luigi, done. So on this flag, I'm going to make a new layer. Right click, go to Create Clipping Mask. Go to my brush tool. Let's do size on this baby to 135. I'm feeling, and hardness 0. Well, let's do 235. Just change the opacity on this little highlight, and then bam, we have like a nice little highlight on this flag, which will really add something to it. I might change. Yeah, that's better. So then I just press Control U on the confetti just to change the randomized colors a little bit. So now I'm going to go to File, Open, and go to my characters and open up this one. So again, I got this image from this one here. You can see here I copied it out, but I'll leave in the assets folder. It will be there for you to use. You don't have to go and use a quick selection tool. Press Control T, hold Shift and Alt, and resize this baby down to like this. I'm going to drop this one behind the confetti just to add some depth. And I'm going to press Control U and just bump up the lightness a little bit, just so it looks like they're behind some clouds and it gives some depth, you know. And if you really want to go crazy on the depth, you can press Control T, go to Perspective, and hold Control, and then like move that one out, so it looks like, you know, it makes it land. It just makes it, because it's perspective, so it's giving it like that 3D depth feel. Especially with 3D banners, it's really important to actually make it look like a 3D scene. So then what I'm going to do is just go to File, Open, and add in my last couple of touches. So this is the rocket that I like. You can grab, but I happen to get this one, which is a lot better. And just drag this one down to something like this. Now I'm going to make the blacks on these rockets really pop out. So to do that, I'm going to use my levels tool. So I'm going to press Control L and just bring the slider in, and that makes the blacks a lot more poppy, and it also brings out the shines on the rockets. So then when I go to my Control U again and then go to my lightness, the blacks will just stand out a lot better when I apply the lightness. And I'll go to Filter, Blur, Glushing Blur, and just add a slight blur, like, I don't know, 1.5 or something, or 1.75. And then that's looking pretty good, I must say myself. And I'll just erase this bit. So if you want to erase some of those, just get your brush pretty large, I don't know, like 250, hardness 0. Because I couldn't cut around those smokes perfectly, so yeah, that's pretty good. And then, opa. Just gonna get rid of this bit. Perfect. I'm just going to do like that. Okay, so now we've got our rockets coming out of the clouds. We've got all these different other images working really well together. We need to do our highlights. So on top of all this, we're also gonna name this, I don't know, flying characters. And this one is going to be rockets. I'm going to make a new layer above here and press B for my brush tool. I'm going to do the size of this one to 350, 0 hardness 0, and I'm just going to do on this one like that. Why don't I do a little highlight there, little highlight there. I'm going to do what, 750. something like that. And also along here, I'm also going to make a new layer. Just to like that. So bam, we've got our banner finished and done. And just copy my highlights. I've laid every single layer here, and that isn't much layers, but we've got something really cool in 25 minutes. So I've shown you how you can edit something in 25 minutes in the tutorial, minus the 2 minutes that I've been talking. So yeah, this banner should only really take you around 20 minutes or so to make, and it's really cool. So the total number of layers you could possibly have is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So yeah, there's not much, and you get something really cool. So yeah guys, if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to hit that like button. That would be greatly appreciated by myself. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also make sure to go check out my other content that I've uploaded in the previous time before this one, and also in the near future. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial. Again, I really do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and just any interaction comments would be awesome so I can interact with you guys. Thanks. Peace.